What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. Welcome to Fightful. Here with a name you know. He's in the running with someone named Deonna Purrazzo as the most interviewed wrestlers in Fightful history. And we're very fortunate that he has enough blood remaining in his body to do this interview. It is the only TNA International Champion, fresh off a dog collar match on Impact Wrestling. Steve Maclin, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Feeling a lot better. Got the stitches here to
How
prove it. Only
many?
got a little set, just seven, just seven,
Just seven.
just seven. I don't know how many pints of blood I lost, but
Well, I know one thing that you didn't do. You didn't answer a history question correctly
yeah,
while getting your head wrapped up.
it was a fun time in the ER that day in Irvine too. And I had one of my best friends too that I served in the Marine Corps with. Barry, him and his wife were out there seeing the show for the first time, and his wife was never been to a wrestling show, so of course,
Yeah.
seeing me in a dog collar match in the main event at TNA was a good eye opener to pro wrestling for her.
Well, before we get into that, we're going to give you a chance to redeem yourself because we do have a reader submitted question.
Wow, I wonder who that reader was.
Who is Chesty Puller?
It's the greatest Marine of all time.
That's accurate. I feel like you were lobbed a softball there.
Yes.
I feel
He's
like
the
you were
man.
lobbed a softball there. But
We used to when I was a boot in the Marine Corps. When you're green in the Marine Corps and you're fresh and new into the fleet, my buddy Plutz had a portrait like Jesus of Chesty Puller in his room, and he would make everybody go in there and praise to Chesty every morning. That was our hazing ritual every morning.
well, as you mentioned, you bled a little bit
Did.
on the as we're filming this. Like this aired less than 24 hours. We're filming this Friday. Oh my god! Like the even like honestly, even the pictures, even the like what I heard from the match didn't quite do it justice to seeing it unfold in front of my eyes, and it was pretty quick, pretty immediate as well. Like the blood was immediate, so it's mixing with your sweat. It's, every time your heart pumps, more is coming out throughout the duration of this dog collar match with Eric Young. By the end of the match, you're looking down, you're seeing all that. How are you feeling?
I was in the moment and in the zone, and the only thing that was going through my mind was like, "Oh wow, this isn't stopping. Cool." And then even when I was making my comeback towards the back end and beating all three of them up of Judas and Travis as well of the Northern Armory, there was a point where I just couldn't see it all. So it was a good crimson mask of using that phrase.
Is it safe to say that this is like the culmination of that program that you all have been involved in for quite some time? Because it certainly felt like it. It certainly felt like, where can you possibly go from here?
Yeah, we started our EY and I started our story in August of last year at Emergence, and that was kind of the start of this feud. And we were kind of going to give it a year, and then some things changed storyline wise. People were intertwined, and then people leaving the company, so that kind of messed up our story of how we wanted it to go. But we pretty much got to the end point that we wanted to. Did we plan for a pay per view? Yes, but for us to be on TNA Impact, to get more eyes on the TNA Plus app, and to draw more people's attention to the TNA Plus app by having people tune in every Thursday night, I thought that we did a good job at that, and I thought we lived up to the storyline and the feud that we had.
I heard those numbers doubled over the last year. The
Yeah,
the
it's
TNA Plus numbers as well.
Yeah, the rise in TNA right now has been so good, and of Carlos has given us the rundown each show, pretty much of just how the progress is going for the past year or two, just from the TNA rebrand and with the TNA Plus app, and just hitting these different markets all over the country. And it's just we're going out to Tempe, Arizona next, and then we have or not next, but we have Brampton up in Ontario, and then we have Tempe, Arizona. It's we're hitting all these different demographics and markets, and it's just growing ever so much.
Man, that new boss Ross Foreman keeping you busy. Keep
VP,
New
VP.
VP, new
Yeah.
VP. We have mentioned some of the changes and all that stuff and the progress in TNA Plus. How has it been there since some of these changes have unfolded? I know some familiar names gone, but I mean also plenty still there.
Yeah, it stinks all the time when like it's people that you've known for a while and build a relationship with and they end up leaving. But it's just you got to realize it's a business at the end of the day. And I know everybody on the internet likes, oh, they're going down under. This is they're selling. And it's like no, it's like it's a wrestling business. And like for as much entertainment and pro wrestling we put out there, it's still a business, and people have to realize that. And it's just way out of my control to worry about those things. And what I can control is by going out there and telling the best stories possible and going out there and performing and delivering to get more eyes on the product.
Before we get back to the match itself, I guess still involving the match itself, you mentioned Judas and Travis. They blew me away the first time I saw them. I watched them wrestle, then the good hands, now the great hands, and I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. Like I could tell at that moment, I was like, if they're not under contract, they're about to be. And then shortly thereafter they were. They're incredible.
They're two very talented young guys that have good heads on their shoulders as well. They're a little quirky too and kind of odd, which I like. And Josh Alexander was the one that pointed it out to them when they were brought in. And he goes, "These two are really good. They could be like the next Motor City Machine Guns kind of style here in TNA and be a name built that way." So Judas and Travis, they're very good, and it's just now getting the TV experience is what's going to make them even better.
I'm interested in the reaction from maybe your superiors, so to speak, about the bloody affair that we saw, because there were reports the next day that TNA was like, maybe we're going to scale back on the blood for a little while after that.
Which is understandable, just because the pay-per-views, which is with the dog collar match, and then you had Santana and Ali killing it at Rebellion, and then you had the barbed wire massacre at Unbreakable, the same night that I won the international championship. Just there's a lot of blood recently, so I think that's their way of scaling it back a little bit and kind of making it mean more for when it does happen again.
So what was their reaction, or did you get a reaction, whether it be from whoever's booking the show at the moment, Tommy Dreamer, anybody? Obviously, I would imagine first concern was, are you okay?
Yes.
Than anything else.
I was perfectly fine. Referee was checking on me the entire match. Asa was right there to check me at dock as soon as I came to the back. I was perfectly fine too. And then went straight to the table. EMTs were trying to start to wrap me up and stop the bleeding, and I told them to get off of me right away so I can cut my promo, please. This is money right now, so let's use this. It doesn't come free. So it was kind of nice. And then Carlos, Dreamer, everybody, majority of the roster, mainly my wife, was right there looking at me, smiling, knowing you're just an idiot, and there's no in between for me. It's just either I'm going to do something full-heartedly and put every bit of it into it, or I'm not going to do it at all. So
I saw her on Twitter post that she watched your match unfazed. Like she's just used to it by now, yeah. Right?
And that's when I tell people, like, the day you know I'm hurt is when you look at my wife and she's actually concerned for me.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Did you keep any of the canvas? I know some people keep those as keepsakes.
I'm sure Ingrid or Ross has definitely found his way to keep that, but I've kept a lot of the photos. I don't know where the dog collars are as of right now. I'm sure Ingrid or Bravo have that. So at some point, maybe get my hands on that.
Because I mean, these days you throw them on a trading card and you sell them, and you do big money off of them. Because I mean, needless to say, that canvas is not going to be reused. That is not going to be one we see in the future.
It was very nice that we're at the end of the night as well, and not everybody was. Nobody had to follow us other than them having to sing "Happy Birthday" to Joe Hendry again.
Yeah, I mean, if we see that canvas pop up again, then we got to worry about TNA's finances and things like that. If maybe they got to recycle,
maybe Jeff Hardy could paint over it again, like you did the one at BFG. Maybe there could be.
I mean, listen, those are some good monetization ideas, honestly, because like he's selling. Like I always hear that Jeff will sell his art at meet and greets.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, Matt should just do crude finger paintings right next to them and put it right there and sell those as well.
Be great. Even at the BFG, I remember with all the tables being set up that Jeff he did all the artwork himself, even the canvas. It was just something different and just something Jeff Hardy would do and only Jeff Hardy could do, which is being that just different outside the park completely from everybody else's ideas, and it was awesome to see.
We mentioned you became the first TNA international champion. In the first tournament match, you beat Ace Austin, who I think is just such a television star, and Eddie Edwards, who has been a fixture in TNA, honestly, probably only rivaled by AJ at this point, by who has been there as long as, or AJ Styles, people who served as long. Then AJ Francis, who has anybody that has given him a chance and actually watched him has seen what he can actually do. And of course, Eric Young, who you have been tied to, you couldn't get rid of for a long time. How was that? Because I mean that's grueling in a far different way. 2 matches like that.
Unbreakable was a great night. It was a lot of fun on my end just because it just kind of everything coming together and just kind of getting handed the ball again and see where it runs or see where I can run with it. And just for the opening match that we had with Ace and Eddie, and just two guys that I love working with. And Ace, I've been wanting to work with, and Eddie's just somebody I've always loved to work with. And we've got to do it a handful of times, and I hopefully can do it in the future again. Same with Ace, who's just very talented. And Deanna and I were not talking, or we were just talking about him not too long ago. He's just somebody that just is very talented at no matter what he does, and he just moves properly to where it doesn't look so choreographed. It just looks just crisp and just he's great at what he does. And then Eddie's just one of the best professional wrestlers I've been in the ring with. I can say that it's just an easy night off. It's a night off with him. And then to have AJ Francis and EY in the finals. I know a lot of people love to give AJ his gripe for how he is on social media and how the heat that he actually gets there, but he's good at what he does. He can get his heat. He can get people to hate him, and sometimes you need that.
And man, we of course have seen the NXT integration. I know I've brought this up to you in the past, but like there is nobody more familiar with the process of that performance center than you. Like
Yeah.
you are as acquainted with it as possible, as well as making it to the main roster, as well as being released and then going and making your name a completely different name outside of that on the indies in TNA. So I mean, you have a unique perspective there as well. Have you had any conversations there? Or is that something that is kind of waiting in the wings?
I've been approached about a few ideas, but it's just kind of playing the waiting game because it's two different companies doing different storylines on each side, and it just has to
Sure.
kind of be work its way to kind of just gel properly. And I think we're getting there. It would mean so much to me to walk in there representing TNA into the NXT Performance Center, or I forget what they call it now, but to me, it will always be the Performance Center, just because I spent so many years in there. But to walk in there representing TNA, being the international champion, and to just stand there without having to say a word and just smile, knowing like I don't know. It would be a really great feeling and a full circle moment, and would just mean a lot for me in my career. If it happens, I will be so happy if it does. If it doesn't, then it doesn't.
Just don't bring Juice Robinson's vape with you. When's the last time you were
No.
at the performance center?
Last time I was at the performance center was the day I got fired. I was working out with
You did the
yeah,
big man class.
I was doing the big man class. I was helping out Adam Pierce with who else was there? Babatunde was still at the company. Omos, he's doing pretty well. It was great to see him go to Japan and excel a little bit there.
Had his
He's
best
very
run
talented
in the
for his
ring there. He was doing really
yeah.
great there.
Yeah, that was the day, and then I got the call later on that night because I missed a phone call from Carano, and then later on that night, I got the call saying, "Hey," I'm like, "Oh wow," and then I looked at my wife, I was like, "Yep, getting fired."
Ah,
What are you gonna do? Honestly, it happened for a reason, and it was a blessing in disguise because it's gotten me to where I am. I'm a former TNA World Champion. I'm the first ever TNA International Champion in history, with the names of Kurt Angle and AJ Styles of being the first champions in TNA company
yes.
history. It's it all worked out in the better for it.
What are some of your goals with the TNA International title? Because like this one immediately feels like it has a little bit more prestige, especially considering the fact that you are a world champion as well. Like you've been there as well. Whereas they had the Legends TV Global title that couldn't really find its identity. It felt like this one did find its identity very quickly.
It's really cool for me because I want to make it what it is, and that's the international championship. So as soon as right after I won it, I instantly said, "Oh, okay, cool. Who's our international talent out there that's free agents? Because it's very hard to find free agents right now. So
Sure.
it's like, who are the international talent that we can use? Because that's what I want to do." And then I was even over in the UK at Future Shock Wrestling doing at a show there, and I said, "I want to come back here with this title. How do I?" And I want to wrestle everywhere, all over the UK, all over the globe, Mexico, Japan, just any and all comers. I would love for them to cross the line, come into TNA, but I would also love to defend it on the independents.
And you do have the Canada events coming up soon as well
Yes.
in TNA. I mean, I know that even separate of that, you're up in Canada and you get bookings there every so often as well. But like, because I think you did Destiny last year. You had the one with Trent Seven. That's what it was, a
Yeah,
cage
me and
match.
Trent had our own. We had our best of 3 series pretty much. That ended
Yeah,
up in a
yeah.
cage match. Trent's I love working with. He's another night off guy where it's fun. It makes wrestling fun.
I'm interested because like you also had the opportunity to work with some younger talent in TNA as well. Like even though Joe Alonzo is not under contract, like man, he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. Casey Navarro made such a wonderful impression with me. He flew to Nashville to do an interview with me. Got a WWE tryout a few months ago and kind of got froze out by Vince McMahon bull rushing his way in right after that because they did a hiring freeze. But those are a couple guys that you've worked with lately that are really good.
Alonzo's another one of those guys that he's good at making people hate him. He has just like a
Yes.
punchable face. And then for KC, I say it probably every show. I'm like, God, he's so good,
He
and he's
is.
very good at what he does, and everything he just gets handed to him. He makes the most of it. Being entertaining, he can be a heel to get his heat. He can be flashy and do the cool flippy moves. And even back to from TV the other night with having my buddy Barry and his wife Neva there. I asked, like, because they're not casual wrestling fans. So I was like, hey, what stood out to you tonight on the show? And KC was her favorite that night. She's just like, he was just so animated. And he went to the crowd. He was a bad guy, but you kind of liked him, but then you hated him at the same time because he was cool. I was like, well, good. I was like, it's just, I always love getting those different dynamics of people that aren't the normal wrestling fan that I'm like, all right, what stood out to you? And he's always been somebody that stood out to me. And even working together at Full Sail when we got to, I had a blast working with him.
And when they put him with AJ Francis, it was nothing I had ever considered. And then they did. I go, oh, of course. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
I was hoping they're gonna bring Swan back, and I could because I could see him and
Yeah.
Casey and Swan as a great tag team, but that's out of my control creatively. But to me, I'm like, that would be great. But
Speaking of Swan, like man, the perfect segue. I love talking to you about Revolver, and I
yes,
want to say it was maybe a month ago, just an insanely loaded match, just unreal. You, Trey Miguel, Rich Swan, Jake Christ, Ace Austin against Davey Bang, August Matthews, Gringo Loco, Joe Alonzo, who we just mentioned, and Mustafa Ali. I have long thought Revolver is among the best indies on the planet. Like what Sammy does there is incredible, and quite honestly, you don't get to see matches like this a lot because what indie promoter wants to pay 10 people for one match, right?
exactly. Especially Sammy too.
Especially the 10 that are in this, probably doesn't come too cheap. How was that? I mean, I know that a few weeks before that you had the match with Myron as well, but your Revolver work's still killing it.
Yeah, I love Revolver is my own home away from home in TNA, and it's a great place for a lot of young talent to wrestle, experienced talent, but also experienced talent to be introduced to this new wave and generation of young talent that's out there. Because I feel I'm at the point now in my career where I'm like, oh wow, these kids are really innovative. They're doing
Mm-hmm.
some really cool things, but now I can find a way to make and put my twist on it where I can try to make it kind of that old school TV, how it means more, and then go out and do it. And I always hate turning down ideas. I just want to make it mean the most. And even working with Myron, like we had a bunch of ideas on the table we wanted to do. I'm like, we don't have time for it. We're the main event. We just followed this match that did all this. We don't need to do that. And he was right there with me doing it. And it was great. But then to even have that 10-man tag in Chicago was a great time because it was the first time Mustafa and I got to work together, and he's someone that I've been wanting to work with for a while. And if you go back to when I had my tryout with WWE in 2013, he was part of that tryout, and there were a few drills I'd never done before, and he was behind me in line, and he's like, "Oh, just listen to me." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So ever since then, he was just somebody I appreciated, like he helped me then. So it's just somebody I've always wanted to work with, and then it was just a great show in Chicago for Revolver. I think it was one of the best looking ones on camera Revolver's had in a while, especially in that building in Chicago. It just the vibe. It's grungy, but it's very well produced and very well
Yes.
shot. And it doesn't look like an independent show. And that's what Sammy loves to make it out there. Is like it looks like its own wrestling show that should be on television.
Occasionally he'll be like, "Hey, what do you think of these graphics?" And I'm like, "They look incredible, Sammy.
Yeah.
You know they do. You know they do." Another person I know you waited your entire career to work with, Paul Walter Hauser.
Oh yeah.
My dude. You know how much I love the fact that my literal favorite actor in the world is into pro wrestling and working with a dude that I know. I loved it. I was like, well, kind of sucks for him, but
Oh,
at
it was
least he's.
fun.
Man, I saw that and I was like, listen, he's gonna get it that night. It was so much fun though. Like, and he's out there doing it like pretty regularly at this stage.
I know he's a champion as well over in
Yeah,
Defy. And it's cool to kind of call him friend now, just because we kind of got close. Even if I don't know if you saw the Luckiest Man in America movie, if you watched it yet. I watched it
I
the other
haven't
day.
yet.
I watched, it was really good, and I texted him like, "Hey man, like this is a really good freaking movie." And he just was like, "Oh, appreciate it." And then we just started talking wrestling right after. He's like, "How you doing?" And then like we're just catching up, trying to get where can we tag again together or just beat each other up at some point. But to face each other in Indianapolis was a lot of fun at Revolver, but then also to tag with each other at the Monster Factory was even more fun. Just because it's just, I don't know, he just enjoys wrestling, and it's just fun to see like someone from the acting world coming in and just it's like, oh, I have these ideas. I'm like, no, nope, nope, nope. You are basics. You don't know. Like, just take it easy. We got to highlight what you're good at, and we can get there when we need to. But he's killing it everywhere he's going, and he's loving it. I love when he's at this. I love when he's at merch. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
He's, oh, I'm gonna go sell merch. I'm like, this is great.
Such a lovely guy. Like, he's
Oh,
such a
he's the
wonderful,
best.
helpful guy. We've just like missed each other in passing a number of times, but there have been times when I like I'll mention him to my wife, and my wife Les is acting too, and she'll be like, "You call this motherfucker Paul? Like you
Yeah,
know him?" I was like,
yeah,
"Yeah, he's Paul. He's Paul Walter Hauser. He
yeah.
phenomenal, phenomenal." I watched a movie where about mail fraud that he was in. It was phenomenal. He's such a good actor. Have you
Was that the
seen
one with coupon? Was
Blackbird?
that the one with coupons?
Yes.
That was the coupon one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a story off air for you about that too. So, have
Well,
you
why can't it be
seen?
on air?
Oh, I'll
Oh,
tell you on air. I'll tell you on
okay.
air. So, because of that movie, a troll who had been sending stuff to my house, I found out who they were. And because I had seen that movie, I found out how seriously the United States Postal Service took spam mail because people were sending one person was sending tour guides to my house. Well, guess who pays for those tour guides? Guess who pays for those? The
Ooh.
government pays for those because they're trying to get you to come visit.
So that's
And
a
when you
federal.
send,
Is that a federal offense?
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
buddy, oh to the tune of hundreds, probably thousands of dollars. So I stopped my mailman and I go, "Hey, do you ever wonder why I get so many of these?" And he goes, "Yeah, honestly." I was like, "What the hell's going on with this guy?" I was like, "Well, let me tell you." Well, that person, while signing me up for something, forgot to change their name in an
Ha!
autofill. And it came to my address with their name on it. And I recognized it as someone who had harassed me nonstop for years. And I immediately took that to that man, and they got in contact with me. And yeah, it's been an ongoing thing. And I knew to do that because of that Paul Walter Hauser movie. I knew how seriously it was taken.
Oh yeah. Well, good.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes,
Paul.
I got to credit him. And you mentioned Monster Factory. That's something that I love that you do. Like, because I know Monster Factory very integral in your development. And I think the world of Danny Cage. I can't tell you. There were two times very intricate situations in the world of wrestling were about to unfold, and he laid out to me, predicted step by step how it would happen. And I just watch it over the next year, and I'm like, this guy. I mean, incredibly perceptive, but I mean, I know that people like Notorious Mimi have emerged from there in recent years as well. Goldie, who is very incredible, and you're still going back there and helping out the next generation of wrestlers.
Yeah, I love going back there and seeing like who's kind of actually putting forth the effort and trying to get to the next level and trying to get out there and get their name known. And Mimi's one of them, and then Goldie, I can't speak any bad things about. Just that kid is so talented. He just needs the right place to get to, the right moment, and it's coming. I think he was just on AEW, what Dynamite the other night. Was it Dynamite or
Yeah,
Collision? And he took that pounce over the top rope and
yeah.
just kid can bump his ass off and sell, but he's also a great. He's very smart
Took
and can
took
work
the
well too.
greatest crossroads of all time on
Yes.
WWE TV.
So I cannot speak highly enough of Goldie, and I hope the best for him. But I love going back there and just it's from where it's where I come from, and dealing with Danny is always fun too because I have my different ways of how I like
Sure.
to articulate things and do things, and then he has his way. So that's also like the coach and student mentality. But it's like now we're both the coach and the student still, no matter what.
Yeah, if you are an up and coming wrestler and you want unfiltered advice, Danny Cage is
Danny
who
Cage is your
somebody
man
I
for unfiltered advice. I promise you that.
Danny Cage will not sugarcoat it at all. By the way, you're welcome for the house for that match against Goldie. By the
Oh,
way, I mean,
thanks.
listen, I know that I put some asses in seats that night, and I just want to say you're
That was
welcome
Mania
for that.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Last year, so yeah,
Yeah. Or
last
yeah,
year,
last year. So yeah,
yeah, and yeah, I think Homicide was on that show too, but people
he
were there for
was.
me. People were there for me, so
Homicide's a good brother.
that's
It was good to, because I even with Santana, I asked, I was like, "How was Homicide with his retirement?" He was like, "He was good. He enjoyed the
yeah,
match, and it was just." I was like, "All right, good. He's a good brother."
man. You want to talk about a guy who's been emerging, Santana as well. Like what I really like yourself, AJ Francis, Santana, you all knew how good you were. And there weren't appropriate opportunities to showcase that in the time provided. And then you all went somewhere, and now people are like, oh, well, damn, they are that good. And you're sort of like showing people this just because this one route isn't showcasing that doesn't mean it's not going to be showcased somewhere else. This is a guy, I mean, I would imagine you're going to be slugging it out with for probably years to come at this stage.
That seems to be the plan. And even the few matches we had together, tagging, and then even the singles when on his debut here in Vegas, was a lot of fun just because we just met each other. But everybody kept telling me, whether it was Josh Alexander or Eric Tompkins, like, "Oh, you two are going to get along so well. Like, you guys have the
Yeah.
same mind." Like, and then just putting the match together for his debut, it just clicked right away, and like we just get each other. And I love that I get to call him friend, and I love his story and what he's doing, and his rise now to getting back to just not getting back to getting to the TNA World Title. I know that's set in his sights, which hopefully I hope he gets to it. Depending on circumstances elsewhere that we can't control, you never know. But I think that's the plan for him, and I know nothing's going to stop him from getting to it.
More great indie stuff there too. House of Glory. You all
House
had
of
the
Glory is
street
killing it
fight.
too. Yeah, we did. House
Yeah.
of Glories. That's another great independent show. That's just it doesn't feel like an independent show. And if you're ever able to get out to House of Glory out in New York, it'd be a great show to get to. And now they're on the road too. I know they've been doing
Yeah.
Chicago, Miami. So or
Yeah. I'm going to
No,
try
they're
to get
doing
out.
Texas. I think they're doing Texas soon as well.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get out whenever they do Chicago sometime. I'm going to try to fly up there because I got that nice little direct flight. But how is it for you getting to do that? Because I mean, you hadn't before WWE, you hadn't done that in a long time. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't know it looking at your schedule and your level of work that you do on the indies as well. You would assume that you had been a crafty veteran of working the indies nonstop.
That's kudos to my wife on that. The day I got fired, she instantly was
Fair.
like, "This is what you have to do." I'm like, "Yep," because my wife hustled. My wife, I forget how many matches the one year she wrestled, way more than the calendar year that most people did. And it's just she knew how to hustle and how to get her name out there and just how to get on certain shows and not overpricing myself, which a lot of people that end up leaving the company end up doing, which gets them to not get booked on shows. It's like, listen, you have to go and earn it now. Like if you want that price, you have to go out and earn that price. I was like, so setting your price low, working with promoters on that and flights, and whether if I can fly myself into somewhere and maybe work it out where it's a meet and greet or a seminar or even just driving somewhere, I try to take advantage of those to help out promoters too. But it's fun. And like I was saying about earlier, working with the younger generation now that's coming up, there's a lot of talent that's out there that's not signed or ID'd yet. And it's cool to see that world growing because the independence is still flourishing. And even with the
Yeah.
recent releases now, it's like even going to get even bigger this year when all these names start kind of popping up on independent shows elsewhere. So it's just it's setting the bar, and hopefully Matt Cardona, the indie god, is ready for a bunch of the releases that are coming out, and he wants to keep that throne up there.
I love it. Do you think he'll do Indie Mania? Do you think he really will?
I hope he does. I don't know. I
Me
don't know if
too.
he was joking or if he was serious, but if he did run a show, I think it'd be one hell of a show to be at
I
if
do
this is what you
too.
want. I think it would be one hell of a show.
He would have to come out at the beginning like Triple H and be like, "Welcome to," all that, and make sure that everybody pays attention to him. I think that would
Would
be
be good.
important. I just looked up an interesting stat because I was like, okay, Steve made it to TV really fast. Deanna got on TV really fast. She beat you by like a month, I think.
Oh.
Her first televised match, I think, was a month before yours.
My first match was CJ Parker, Juice
Yeah.
Robinson, July.
July. It says June 12th, 2014.
Okay.
Hers was against Brooke, May 10th, 2014 on TNA one night only. Look at that. Look at that. The
It's a long
crafty
time ago.
television
That's a
veteran.
long time ago.
I know, right? Isn't it wild to think it was that far back?
Yeah. And it's funny too, because when she was an extra at NXT, like that's when we first met. And to backstory to our wedding day, of the gift I got her was the pea coat that I ended up having handed to me because she left it in somebody's car. And
Yeah.
QT Marshall, who was there at the time, was an extra still at the time too. He's like, hey, she'll probably be back as an extra for the girls. He's like, if you give this coat back to her. I was like, yeah, sure. And then I just had it sitting in my trunk and then randomly threw it out one day. This pea coat. I was like, oh, I'm never going to see this girl again.
Oh no.
And then here we are years later, married, and
Go
then
figure.
I knew the day at our wedding day. I was like, all right, let me go find the peacoat that I got her, that I threw away, that she had, and try to get the best exact replica of what I had. And it was a good gift, a good moment.
Oh, incredible. Steve, you're in Las Vegas. You partying? What's going on? What are you going to do this weekend?
My wife is in a celebrity poker tournament, and I'm
Does she
very
play
excited.
poker?
No, this is the best part about it. We've been playing a little bit here and there. She's got it on her phone now, and she's been trying to it's just. We've been playing with Canadian money that we have just stacked up that we have to go exchange, but it's just that's been our pretty much our money betting to each other while playing poker at night on some hands on the kitchen counter, just to get her just mind fresh and teach her, and like, all right, what's going on here in certain scenarios, what's playable in a hand, what do you think's out there, like what do you think could be here. So it's I'm very much looking forward to it for tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to that poker face. Her
Yeah, we got
pretending that, right? Like
she's
it's
gonna be
gonna.
sitting there with her bougie glasses, leopard print jacket.
I
She's gonna
cannot
fully
wait.
Jersey housewife it up.
I cannot wait to see this. Steve Maclin, as always, I really appreciate the time. And first off, glad you're doing okay physically. I knew you would, but man, come on, listen, you're split all the way open up there.
I know. It's okay. Well, what
Still,
stinks is like, so we obviously the match was taped later on that night after the live episode.
sure.
So in the live episode, when I was jumped by them, which was supposed to be a week prior, I was jumped by them that night. Right above my left eye, I got it busted open hard way.
Oh
So of
no.
course that added to the blood too. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh, we just never have any luck sometimes.
Oh my
What
gosh.
are you gonna do?
Well, listen, what I would suggest is just get back at them by sending them tour guides in the mail.
I don't know. It seems kind of sketchy. I just won't put my name on the information. I'll use somebody
Yeah,
else's.
you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But guys, go follow Steve Maclin. Please support what he's doing. Check out TNA Impact every week, 8 p.m. Steve, I want to thank you so much for giving me so much time.
Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it.
Till next time, my friends, we are out.